Everybody, I am First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin, and we are here to talk weather on Atlanta News First Plus. Certainly, no surprise to anyone, there is a lot to talk about this evening. We're streaming on many platforms and probably will get questions from a couple of different places. One of which is YouTube, Atlanta News First. Already some folks commenting there, and you can text us, 470-777-9263 WANF. In fact, just noticed some questions coming in from earlier that we will be addressing. This is a two-part stream, two-part weather impacts, really cold. Pretty intense cold, unusual cold, even by Atlanta standards in North Georgia in the month of January. That's the certain part of the forecast and the certain impact. And then that potential for accumulating snowfall across parts, but not all, of North Georgia, and what that could mean for our Tuesday evening commute, Tuesday night plans, Wednesday morning plans. So a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. I think at the forefront of this is the cold, extreme cold warning, first ever issued for portions of North Georgia, including Fulton County, the city of Atlanta. Now, we say first ever because this is the first winter that the National Weather Service has used these two types of alerts, a cold weather advisory and an extreme cold warning. Basically, they were trying to streamline and simplify the forecast and expected weather impacts, and rather than have, wind chill advisory, wind chill warning, which is only about wind chill, not the actual temperature. We have realized that it doesn't matter whether it's the wind chill temperature or the temperature. If they're both 0 degrees, they're both going to have a very similar impact to the human body. And so they have kind of simplified, streamlined, and we now have two new alerts that you may occasionally see in wintertime, especially the cold weather advisory. And we have both in effect for portions of North Georgia and Metro Atlanta this evening. They've been issued, I should say, but go into effect 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. So here in just a handful of hours, and they will remain in effect until noon. Both of these alerts. Extreme cold warning, those counties shaded in that purplish color. Wind chill values -4 to near 0. And I will say some of our mountain communities could have wind chill values maybe -4 to -7 up in the highest of elevations. That does, though, include the city of Atlanta, so just below 0 wind chills, or around 0. I would say roughly -4 to maybe 2, 3, our lowest wind chills tomorrow morning. And then further to the south and the east, back into East Georgia, all the way up to Rabin County, Rabin County, Georgia, and near Clay County, North Carolina, a wind chill kind of bottoming out in the single digits tomorrow morning between 4 degrees and 10 degrees. And we have a lot of questions, comments on YouTube, saying thanks for the informative live streams. Glad they're going well for you. Trent Davis, are we going to get any snow? Sean, you're very welcome for the stream. Hello, Wesley up in Ackworth. Vanessa is streaming as well from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis getting some cold, absolutely. You missed the bulk of the snow this time, unlike last time. But in Memphis, you're getting a blast of cold air, very similar to what we have here in Atlanta. Isaac saying, we need 4 inches more snow in ATL, please. That's a tall order and one that's going to be very hard to accomplish with this particular system. Sandra saying, I don't think we will get much snow. It really depends on where you are, but in general, less moisture to work with this go around than with the last system, but still the ability to squeeze out some snow with this setup. Peachy Keen 3.0, hello Cutter, thanks, and checking in from Vinings. Pray for a few inches of the cold stuff. We will have to see how it goes. Grace Van Dyke, I finally caught you live. Hey, how exciting. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And again, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, it is very possible I could miss a couple of questions. Sometimes they kind of come in rapid fire, especially on YouTube. But also, you can text us, 470, and I'm going to pop this up, 470-777-WANF. That is 470-777-9263. And much like you're texting a friend, just shoot us a weather question. It's going to be hard to answer exactly how much snow you may see in your neighborhood. Those are the type of questions that are still rather difficult to answer, though we're going to go through it in the stream right here. But if you just have general questions, how to protect your home, are pipes an issue? What's the lowest temperature? We're very confident in that. Should I expect in my neighborhood? Those sorts of things will be very easy to answer, but as far as snowfall accumulation, still pretty complicated. And I want to remind you, even after the end of this stream, we're not leaving you. The entire morning team, First Alert Meteorologist Ella Dorsey, Rodney Harris, Courtney Jacobazzi, they will be back on air and streaming. You remember, you can watch our newscast anywhere you stream. Also, they will have streams like this one starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and we'll keep you updated then. And you can just follow me on social media. Again, CUTTERMARTIN, Cutter Martin, that's how you spell my name. Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram. I've been getting questions there and have been posting in those places as well. So if at any time, even outside of streams, you have questions, feel free to give me a holler. Gordon Thomas, has the snow moved on from Atlanta? Not yet, but we're still on that line between nothing and a little bit of something. Unfortunately, that line falls right over Metro Atlanta, and nothing has really changed since last stream. Good evening from Riverdale. Just checking in to see if we will get any snow. Certainly there is that chance of snow, and we saw some flurries today. I think a good chunk of us will see snow falling, but is it significant enough to really accumulate substantially on the ground, an inch or more? That's the big question, especially for the city of Atlanta. How to protect your homes is an excellent question, Sonia is saying. So, Sonia, and I actually do have a graphic here. Again, we've talked about cold weather alerts, extreme cold warning, and cold weather advisory in effect. Here are some general tips. Let water drip from the indoor faucets, especially if your home is older, and especially, another criteria to add on to that. If your home is raised and you have a crawl space underneath, anywhere where air can get in, or maybe a loosely insulated basement where cold air can get underneath your home, in your home. And a lot of those pipes are, recessed or underneath, maybe between your first living floor and the basement floor. Dripping the indoor faucet's not at all a bad idea. Now, a lot of newer homes are well insulated. More of those pipes than ever are indoors. Others have other systems to help keep them warmer, different materials, stuff like that. But still not a terrible idea to let the faucets drip, especially tonight into tomorrow morning. And of course, the whole point behind that is to keep the water moving just a little bit. That'll reduce the risk of it freezing. Outdoor faucets and spigots, cover those. I was talking with Joylyn Nakrin earlier. She has horses, stables, and they have a lot of outdoor spigots and faucets. Those are great to cover. Those can easily freeze, and some of those are just PVC, so they can break, they can freeze, and cause issues. Ashley Wise saying she has seen flurries in Gainesville. We saw flurries in Atlanta today. We kind of talked about that on the stream yesterday evening, that flurries would be possible today, and sure enough, even in the city of Atlanta, a few little snow flurries, little sleet pellets, barely noticeable, but you saw them blowing around. Especially kind of against something dark, they were a little bit more obvious. So we did see those today, and we're probably going to see a few more of those this evening, and then clearing out frigid air moves in tonight into tomorrow morning. Sandra Mohammed asking, do I think it will be enough snow to close schools? It's tough. A lot of those are human decisions, and that depends district to district, county to county. I think that not everyone, I don't think, is going to be out of school Tuesday. If I had to guess right now, if I must tell you an answer now, for this north school districts, Rabun County, Clay County, North Carolina, these areas in the mountains, very cold, but likely to remain drier, and they're a little more used to the snow as well. However, the further south you go from the city of Atlanta, more and more likely to have school, maybe adjustments, maybe closures, maybe some delays into Wednesday morning. And Atlanta's just on that dividing line where decisions are made out of an abundance of caution. So I think it's very possible that some of our Metro Atlanta school districts could have cancellations or early releases Tuesday, and possibly some delays or cancellations Wednesday, depending on what we see Tuesday into Tuesday night. David Wright says, dripping, just not running. You could get a huge water bill if it's too much. That's another point, and that's why we said just let water drip. Again, it's not about, all you need is that little drip to keep that water flowing and to reduce the risk of freezing. Keep in mind, if your outdoor pipes are wrapped, also those cabinets, maybe open those cabinets adjacent to the sink. That'll also allow warmer air into those areas. Again, not that it's never likely that all of your pipes are going to freeze necessarily, especially in a new build, but the older the home, the less wrapped and protected and insulated they are, the more your risk, and no one wants a broken pipe and, thousands of dollars worth of damage. So if it means just dripping the pipe, sure, but as David mentioned, it's not about having that on full force. You don't need to fill up the bathtub. Don't need to do that. Just a little bit of a drip with a couple of those, your bathroom faucets will kind of keep that water moving just enough and reduce your risk. Gordon Turman asking if Covington, Georgia could get some snow again. Let's go ahead and go into that. We're going to go hour by hour first, walk you through the forecast. And again, just to preface this, we're talking about cold first, then sliding into the snow. Extreme cold warning in effect tonight into tomorrow morning, including the city of Atlanta. Wind chills down around 0 tomorrow morning. South side, east side, wind chills in the single digits. That's dangerously cold if you're outside for an extended period of time. Just to give you a sample of what wind chills could be tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., this particular model has wind chill of 6 in Atlanta, 3 Marietta, 6 Dawsonville, 2 in Calhoun, -3 in Blairsville, 10 Thomaston, 10 LaGrange, 8 in Covington. And this is just a snapshot, one moment in time. Again, just below 0, just above 0, a good bet, especially from Atlanta on to the north and northwest. All right, now for what everyone wants to know, what is the forecast holding through tonight into tomorrow? Tomorrow is a first alert weather day, not for winter weather, but for cold. Brutally cold Martin Luther King Jr. Day, one of the coldest MLK Jr. days we've had here in Atlanta in a long time. Actual temperatures in the mid to upper teens. Forecasting a low of 18 in Atlanta. That's Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Some are coming in a little colder, some of this data. Would not be surprised if we saw some 16, 17-degree temperatures, especially north end of the perimeter early Monday morning. As we get into noon, temperatures still well below freezing, mid to upper 20s. This particular model wants us to only top out in the upper 20s, lower 30s. I think with so much sunshine tomorrow, we're going to get up to maybe 32, 33. That's at Hartsfield-Jackson. Not everyone gets above freezing. In fact, the majority of us do not get above freezing tomorrow afternoon. Starting out clear early tomorrow evening, so we're quickly back into the low to mid-20s tomorrow evening, a little after this time. And then here's Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning is the day. Tuesday is the day with a chance of snow. Tuesday morning begins dry, maybe even with some sunshine. Cold, though. Temperatures low to mid-20s. And then we await the afternoon and the evening. Jesus Ramirez, any change in the forecast for Cobb County, Marietta? No change. Sharkbite asking about Noonan. Tom Dobby, mower repair. Thanks for watching, man. It's how much snow for Riverdale? So, East Point, Riverdale, down near the airport. We're going to go into amounts here, but I want to walk you through the timeline. Just throwing this out there in the city of Atlanta, still more likely to get less than an inch of snow. But we will see how that evolves. We're going to have to watch the next 24 hours pretty closely. Here we are at noon Tuesday. We're still quiet. Temperatures trying to get up to freezing. We may briefly get above freezing Tuesday, Atlanta points south. And then watch what happens 3, 4, 5 p.m. So here is 5 p.m. That is rush hour. That is not a time where you want snow to be falling. Now notice, and again, this is kind of peak snow coverage on our Tuesday early evening. Not everyone is seeing snow at this time, and I would say the area of most uncertainty is roughly, and we talked about this earlier, we did this earlier, the area of most uncertainty is basically right smack dab over metro Atlanta. Even subtle changes in the forecast could mean more significant changes as to what accumulates on the ground, what you see out your window, what you're having to deal with Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. What about Stone Mountain? Ren saying Stone Mountain again. The chance of an inch of snow, not all that high. Dusting, coating is probably more likely. Somewhere between, a quarter of an inch and 3/4 of an inch of snow. Let's call it a half inch. That's what's most likely. But there's a chance for, up to an inch or a little more of snow. And the further south and southeast you go, your chance of accumulating snow more than an inch will increase pretty significantly. Jesus, you very well could see snow in Marietta. No, nothing has changed from the earlier stream, ANF Plus, when we were streaming at 4:30. But you are on the northwest side of town, so you have a lower chance of snow, but it's not yet zero. Again, we're constantly adjusting the forecast, and as data gets better and better, as we are able to actually see this low-pressure system develop, which it has not yet. This coastal low, the trough, the dip in the jet stream, the cold air, it's here, it's already developed. This little coastal low has not really spun up yet. So forecast models will continue to struggle for the next, couple of runs. I think as we get into tomorrow, not only will we be watching trends, but our confidence in what is going to happen Tuesday will continue to rise. If you're between those two red lines, aka if you're anywhere in the immediate metro, very uncertain forecast, but still more likely to get up to an inch of snow rather than 1 inch being the low amount or the minimum. 1 inch is not the minimum. That's more of the higher end at this time. But, even subtle changes could mean some differences. So we're going to be watching this pretty closely. Anil Hulis, thanks for watching from Snellville. Gordon Truman, can the storm move more north right overnight, or do you think the forecast is still good? I think that between now and tomorrow afternoon, there very well could be some more shifts in the forecast. But do I expect, humongous changes at this point? No. But even just to show you the type of atmosphere that we're dealing with here, even 3/100ths of an inch of additional moisture liquid here would mean about another 1/4 inch, half inch of snow or so. So it only takes just a little bit more moisture with the air, with how cold it is, how cold the air is, to get a more significant coating of snow on the ground. So, Gordon, change is still possible, but no huge changes from when we spoke earlier. So Disna saying, so basically the further you are south of I-20, the better your chances of snow, like the reverse of last week. Yes. Frame that comment. So Disna, thank you for putting it that way. That is absolutely the case. In general, 85 is kind of a marker, but also I-20. In general, the further south and east you go, your chance of snow will increase. The further north and west you go, the lower your chance of snow. Not because of temperature. It's going to be cold enough all across North Georgia, but it's a question of moisture. It's going to be hard to get enough moisture that far north to get, accumulating snow all the way up in the North Metro and mountains. Tuesday. So that is a great way. I mean, absolutely, hit the nail on the head there. That is absolutely the trend. The further south and southeast you go, the greater your chance of getting more than an inch of snow. Sean Smith saying, how about Spalding County? Has anything changed? No, nothing has changed. I would say 1 to maybe a little more than an inch of snow, a distinct possibility, but we'll have to see how the next 24 hours unfold and if we need to bump up that chance and that forecast accumulation amount. So Atlanta will get a chance of snow, but not a lot. I would say, there is a chance of snow. That's not changed, and there will continue to be a chance of snow. But everyone's a lot is also different. There's the potential on a higher end scenario where we could see a little more than an inch, and even on the north side, and then that number would grow, however far south you go, to where there could be multiple inches of snow south of Atlanta. But right now we have not seen any shifts. We have not seen any big changes this evening with data. Floyd County, it's going to be a little hard to get significant snow that far north up in Chattooga. Floyd County's up in Rome. It's going to be harder to get significant snow that far north. Kevin Rivera, what about Lawrenceville? About the same. You have a chance of snow tomorrow. Generally, 85 corridors, kind of that dividing line between drier, may not see much in an area that could see a coating of snow. That hasn't changed much, so still chance of snow, coating most likely, but we'll have to watch trends very, very closely over the next 24 hours or so. Gary Stevens, will Eatonton be snowed in for multiple days? I think you're going to get a few inches of snow potentially down in Eatonton, potentially. And temperatures will be well below freezing, but I don't know about snowed in, but I think slick travel in the mornings will continue for several more days. And if you're in a wooded area or shaded area, there could be slick spots in the afternoons through Wednesday afternoon down that way. So I don't know about snowed in necessarily, but slick travel down in Eatonton could linger well past Tuesday and through much of Wednesday. Shania asking about Kennesaw, Matrone asking about Ackworth, kind of similar areas there. It's going to be hard to get snow that far north, but certainly it is not impossible. Here's a look at the big picture for accumulations now that we've talked about timing. Again, Tuesday afternoon, evening, Tuesday night is our greatest chance of seeing snow. This system, nothing has shifted north from when we last spoke. No huge changes from when we last spoke. Graham asking about any thoughts on Conyers Rockdale I-20 splits the county. In 85 is kind of another good divider there. You're east and you're just southeast of the core of the metro, so your chance of snow is greater than Cobb County, but you're still kind of in that range there where up to an inch is most likely, and then greater than an inch a little more likely to your south. Hey, Michael. Thanks for tuning in for streaming once again. No significant changes from when we spoke earlier in Gwinnett. Haven't been any changes. Tonight into tomorrow. So over the next 2 to 3 cycles of data, and as this low actually begins to develop, that's when we're really going to, not that, there still could be some shifts, but if there haven't been any shifts Monday night to Tuesday morning, not really expecting much of a change. So confidence will continue to gradually increase over the next 24 hours. So no changes with Gwinnett. John Clem, thank you for tuning in for watching. Appreciate the comment. Again, we appreciate anyone streaming on Atlanta News First Plus, and especially when the event gets going. You all can help us, not only, improve the forecast, but relay what is happening, because we have eyes and ears in many parts of the viewing area, but you folks watching, streaming, folks living around North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, can certainly help us out. Let us know what you are seeing, and that helps us relay reports to the National Weather Service and just get a better idea as to what's happening. So Disna saying, I remember when the GM Canadian model was saying like 5+ inches of snow for Atlanta like 3 days ago. And so Disna also has another good point. People have brought up specific models, and at times they have shown, even the European model, the ECMWF, which is one of the best, one of the best skill scores, which means it's one of the most accurate models, tried and true, proven, was showing a significant snowstorm. historical snowstorm for North Georgia days ago, has since, like other models, backed off and away from that idea. So here's a regional look. We had some questions about areas to our south and to our southwest. Yeah, it's justifying saying crazy. Grace Van Dyke saying, OMG, Louisiana 48 inches is wild. And there could be isolated amounts that are more than that, from deep East Texas, inland Southeast Texas, back into central Louisiana. And, it's possible in this setup, even New Orleans could see more snow than Hartsfield-Jackson, the official climate site for the city of Atlanta. But for those that are local, we're going to move this forward. And here's a look at what is most likely to happen now. Now, notice I do say greatest chance, because we're still in that uncertain window, but confidence will continue to gradually increase over the next 24 to 36 hours. Michael Murillo, will you be live tomorrow? I will be off tomorrow. But no worries, the entire First Alert Weather team, we're all doing ANF Plus live. And starting tomorrow at 10 a.m., again at 11:30 a.m. most likely, possibly an update in the afternoon. And then again, we have all of our newscasts, which you can stream if you're on Roku, Amazon Fire, First Alert Weather app, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. You can stream Atlanta News First, even if you don't have cable or access to our channel on a television. Starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then we will have ANF Plus, Atlanta News First Plus, again tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Gordon saying, I'm not from South Georgia, but it would be good for them to get some snow for once. Yeah, the last more significant snow they had was back in 2018. I was actually working in Savannah, and we had a historic storm, another coastal low, mind you. Atlanta got a little bit in the area, but it was mainly central Georgia. It was mainly South Georgia, coastal Georgia, low country of South Carolina, and that setup that really cashed out and won that lottery, the snow lottery. And very well, that could be the same case this time. Algernon asking for still under the winter storm watch, and yes, that is the case. We have an extreme cold warning, we have a cold weather advisory, and we have a winter storm watch for various portions of North Georgia and metro Atlanta. They're saying if you were still here in Savannah, you might be in the thick of it. I very well might be, especially if I were in Statesboro up to Macon, back to Valdosta, Tifton area as well. Any snow, Timmy, just hope asking any snow coming to Troup County. It's justifying saying, does Middle and South Georgia have snow plows? Just wondering. GDOT in general, remember, like statewide, Department of Transportation does have some plows. But as far as cities and stuff down there, no, absolutely not. So our major interstates will be treated, and if need be, maybe plowed. I do remember a couple of plows back in 2018 with that snow event, but they don't have, many of them. So outside of interstates and stuff, if they see a significant snow, it's going to be slush. It's going to be slick for a series of days. Oh, Sarah Lee, I must have... Okay, found it, Sarah Lee. So now we don't have snow warning on Tuesday now here in Douglas County. There was never a winter storm warning. You are still under a winter storm watch in Douglas County. Nothing as far as alerts has changed. Still under a winter storm watch. Remember, all that is needed for a winter storm warning to be issued in Atlanta is for 2 inches of snow to fall, or even if it's less than 2 inches, for enough accumulation to occur to cause significant travel disruptions. And with roads as cold as they are, as cold as the weather is, it will not take much accumulating snow. It will not take snow ball fight sort of snow to cause roadway issues, just because it is so cold across North Georgia leading up to this event. Gordon Truman, do I think this is the last snowstorm for the winter season in Georgia? I would say most likely, but the pattern remains fairly active through February. And I would say at least mountains, have that chance. In fact, we're going to be watching next Friday. Could be some mountain snow showers this coming Friday. Now, snowstorm doesn't really qualify, but something we'll be watching. Eric Pearson saying maybe an inch or two in Union City. So down in South Fulton, more likely up to an inch. And then that greatest chance of 2 inches on the map there is mainly to your south, Upson County, over towards Eatonton, Putnam County, Greene County, back towards Augusta, down to Macon, down to closer to Statesboro, Tifton, Valdosta, and then back into Albany, Southwest Georgia, Americus area, Perry, Georgia. Those areas have the greatest chance of multiple inches of snow, but I would say up to an inch in South Fulton as it looks right now, but there is still some uncertainty. Dorian Rodriguez, will Walton County get snow? Certainly have a fair chance, and yes, I think when you say get snow, I think you'll see some snow, but as far as how much accumulates, that's still a question. Still more likely you'll see less than an inch of snow. Gordon is saying 1 inch is still a lot. Well, then that's a lot. Some people's lot is 3-4 inches. Everyone has a different. Everyone on YouTube, it's funny. Everyone kind of has a different threshold for what is a lot, what isn't a lot. But yeah, an inch of snow is certainly unusual for Atlanta, but it does happen. Let's see. So Disney's saying, I mean, we did have a snowstorm in March a few years ago. Yeah, no. I would be unwise to say for sure that this is our last system. It's just there's nothing on the horizon right now, but the pattern remains active. And if we keep this active pattern going, and if we can time things out with cold air just right yet again, it's very possible. Kendall Grace Hunter, will Carrollton get any snow? Being on the west side of town, but you are on the southwest side, so the further south you go, the greater your chance. The odds of seeing snow, they're certainly there, but as far as accumulation, that's a bit of a different story. Still a safer bet that you're going to see less than an inch of snow, even if you do see snow falling. Forrest Lou asking how much Midtown will get. I would say most likely less than an inch of snow. As you can see on the map there, Atlanta's right on that line, less than an inch of snow. But any fluctuations, even minor changes with the amount of moisture we can get this far north, would tug both of those lines greater than an inch, greater than 2 inches further north. Adrenon saying, I hope this winter storm is not as bad as Friday. It doesn't take much to cause slick travel, and slick travel is certainly a concern, a possibility Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, on into Wednesday morning. Timmy Jesshope asking if there's any snow coming to LaGrange, Troup County. Yes, I would say you're probably going to see some snow, but still more likely to be maybe 1 inch to 2 inches down in that area, especially southern Troup County going to Meriwether County back towards Upson County. Folks are asking about specific communities, and I am not familiar with a Miami, Georgia, but if you're asking about Miami, Florida, that would be a no. But far north Florida could see, in the Panhandle too, could see some freezing rain, sleet, and a little bit of snow. But Miami will get a taste of this cold weather. Funny enough, they're actually going to be colder than average down that way. Gordon Truman, my phone says 33% chance of snow in Covington, but it keeps going up and down every hour. Here's what I would suggest. That may be with the First Alert Weather app, depending on exactly where you are. But if you don't have the First Alert Weather app, good tool to have. Search Atlanta News First or First Alert Weather in your app or Google Play Store. And not only will you have the forecast, but you will get forecast video updates, much like the one that's in there now, giving you context, alerting you to what changes have or have not occurred, and giving you more of a heads up that changes could be coming, or just certainty and confidence that they're not coming, and then what we have in the forecast is what's going to occur. Grace Van Dyke saying, might roads Wednesday still be slick into the middle of the day by chance? Back roads and I know interstates will probably, it just depends. It's certainly possible. Whatever snow falls, I will say this, Grace, whatever snow falls on Tuesday afternoon and evening, even if it's just a little bit, it will stick around through Tuesday night, and it will still be there Wednesday morning. Temperatures are going to be very cold. So even if it's just a little bit, it'll still be there. It's just a matter of how much do we get. Gordon, glad you're able to download the app. What's the chance for snow in Columbus? I would say pretty close to 100%. Columbus is set up to get snow down in Columbus, Georgia, down in Albany, Georgia, down in Macon, Georgia, over to Augusta, Georgia, Swainsboro County, Vidalia, to name it, all those areas. Will there be a frost warning tomorrow? No, probably not going to be any frost out the door. The area is bone dry. I'm coughing, nose is running, lips are chapped. The air is bone dry, and there's a wind blowing. So even though it's incredibly cold tomorrow morning, you're not going to see any frost just because it's too dry. The wind is blowing too much to get frost to form. It's justifying, will the roads of extreme North Georgia be cleared? What about Duluth? Again, the further north you go, the less likely you are to see significant snow. I would say right now the chance of significant snow up to an inch in Duluth is low. Will the roads of far North Georgia be cleared? So North Georgia mountains, they still have some snow and ice on roads from last week's system, believe it or not. I have a friend up in Blue Ridge, Fannin County. Now, she's not in the city of Blue Ridge. She's outside of Blue Ridge. But her roads are still pretty slushy. That was as of last night. And we're now back below freezing. And I doubt she had, with temperatures falling, cloudy skies, and flurries today, I doubt she had much melting today. So our secondary roads up in the mountains likely to be very slick, even if you don't see much accumulation at all, just because of what we had last week. Anything for Calhoun or Dalton, Georgia, James Fields, the chance is low. Could see some flurries, as you see on the map. Could see some flurries. Chance of accumulating snow that far north is pretty low. What's the chance of snow in Dallas, Georgia? I would say the chance of snow, fall is about 40% or so up that way, 30-40%, but the chance of accumulating snow is much less up in Dallas. Let's see, the first time I am on the right side of I-20. Let's give a big round of applause and a cheer for our Southside friends and folks that tend to always, isn't that right, Terry? Those Southside folks never are in the best place for snow, but this time they are, as it looks right now. Terry does not want to be on the stream, but we are cheering for the Southside folks. We are cheering for Megan C's, because a lot of times the further south you go, the harder it is to get snow to fall. Opposite trend this time. That's just the name of the game with this particular type of setup. Shark Bite asking about Newton and Coweta. Nothing has really changed since the last stream. I would say, 30 to 40% chance of snow. The chance of accumulating snow is there, but generally, it is going to be less of a risk of accumulating snow. Sorry, reading a text and streaming at the same time. What about Jackson and Butts County? That far south, your chance of accumulating snow is greater. I would say 1 to 2 inches as it looks right now, especially Butts County. Do you think Lawrenceville's going to get any snow? What are your thoughts with the roads? Be safe to drive and schools getting canceled. What do you think? Will Lawrenceville get half an inch of snow? It's too soon to know for sure. I know Lawrenceville, you're east, but you're also north, so your chance of accumulating snow is lower. However, it doesn't take much snow in this setup to get slick roadways out there, so something we're going to be watching here pretty closely. Michael, any thunderstorms after this? We are going to be watching a rainy storm system next, not today, but next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that could bring some heavier rain and risk of thunder and lightning. Gordon Turman saying, I'm needing all Southside folks to make a TikTok in the snow like Atlanta did. And there could be, there's still, as the map shows, there still could be some snow in Atlanta, most certainly. Something we're going to be tracking. I want to remind folks that we're going to be live here in a little bit. In fact, I need to record a new video for the First Alert Weather app. And then we're going to be live tonight again on Peachtree TV. I will join Joy Lim Nacrin tonight on Peachtree TV at 10 p.m. So that's Atlanta CW. Full forecast then. And then hopefully on time tonight, though we could be on a little bit late on WANF Atlanta News First, but that is when our next cycle of data will be coming in. Again, don't expect any huge changes, but it will be yet again a new cycle of data starting to come in by that point. Want to thank you all for tuning in, for watching. If I missed your question, I will go back through. You can find me on social media. I'll put my links there. Also, you can simply get the forecast in the First Alert Weather app. About to record a new video as well.